Hello ma'am, my name is John Ronald B. Blando and this is my presentation. Time, place, and setting on the interview. A police officer conduct interview in a witness number of situation. The most common is on the scene interview. On the scene interview is an interview conducted at a specific location, often crime scene or accident site, and typically involves at a first responder or investigator asking questions to the witnesses, suspect, or involved parties. B. The physical circumstances under which the interview takes place can be critical to the value of the information. They can influence the comfort, trust, ability, and participants to recall information accurately and express themselves freely. C. Although convenience of the witness is important to a successful interview, the interviewer need not relinquish the psychological advantage in selecting the time, place of the interview. They can still maintain control over a physical and psychological aspect by choosing the time and place. D. Privacy is of the utmost importance in conducting interviews. Privacy is crucial interview to protect participants' autonomy, dignity, and safety, and to ensure the quality and credibility of the information gathered. E. The physical and emotional state of the witnesses are important in conducting or determining whether to conduct an interview. Because it can affect their ability to answer questions, project confidence, and demonstrate self-awareness. Thank you.
Time, place, and setting of the interrogation. A. Unlike the interview, which may take place in any number of the different locations and at various times, which may or may not be advantageous of the investigator. Interrogation is a controlled process controlled by the interrogator. This control extends to the location, timing, ensuring the interrogator can manage the situation effectively. Number 1. The most critical factor in controlling the interrogator is to ensure privacy. In addition, privacy may be used as a psychological tool. The suspect may feel more willing to unload the burden of guilt in front of only one person. Privacy is important in controlling the interrogation and can psychologically encourage the suspect to confess in the interrogator. B. The traditional interrogation room should be sparsely furnished, usually with only 2 chairs, small table, and minimal decorations. This simplicity aims to minimize distractions and keep the focus on the interaction between the interrogator and the suspect. C. The two-way mirror. Although still a useful tool for allowing others to observe the interrogation, it is widely known and may cause some subjects to refuse to cooperate in the interrogation. This two-way mirror is useful for observation, but it can make subjects uncooperative due to awareness of being watched.
Neuro-linguistic programming. A. Several decades ago, Richard Bandler and John Grinder recognized that communication could be enhanced if the words and action of the interviewer and interviewee were similar. Thus, if the interviewer could mirror the words and action of the witness or suspect, report will be more easily established. This context is the interviewer subtly matching the interviewer's posture, gesture, and pace of speech, while a verbal sample will be using similar phrases of vocabulary. Neuro-linguistic programming embraces 3 simple concepts. 1. First, neuro comes from the idea that behavior originates from neurological processes involving the five senses: seeing, hearing, and smelling, tasting, and feeling. It is through these senses that we experience life. Number 2. Then we communicate our life experience through language, the linguistic element. Number 3. Programming refers to how we organize our ideas and actions to produce results. C. An interrogator will understand these concepts and can get in sync with the witness or suspect by mirroring or matching mannerisms. Actions and words can make communication barriers disappear, foster trust, and create the flow of desired information. The interviewer. Interviewee uses a certain verbal phrase or language, such as speaking slowly or using specific jargon. The interviewer might do the same to build rapport, establish of connection.
Good day everyone. Today I'll be talking about interviewing process and techniques. We'll look at how interviews are done and how investigators can help witness remember details more clearly. A. Interview has a similar process no matter the time, place, or type of person being interviewed. There's always a beginning, a middle, and the end. At the start, interviewer builds trust and explains the purpose. The middle is where most question and answer happen. The end is used to review what was said and close the interview properly. B. The cognitive interview techniques was made to help witness remember more details correctly. It avoids problems that can happen with hypothesis. There are four main steps. 1. Ask the witness to imagine this and describe what happened around the time of incident. 2. Have them tell everything they remembered, even small details. Ask them to tell the story in a different order. 4. Finally, ask them to look at the event from another person's point of view. This step helps get more accurate information from the witness. To sum up, good interviewing means following a clear process, using techniques that help people remember better. When done properly, it builds trust and gives more reliable information. Thank you for listening.
Pre-interrogation legal requirements. The legal requirements pertaining to interrogation became critical concern during the 1960s, and as a result, the Supreme Court handed down a landmark decision that has dramatically affected the condition under which interrogation takes place. Miranda v. Arizona. The Supreme Court, in a 5-4 decision, spelled out the requirements and procedures to be followed by officer when conducting an in-custody interrogation of a suspect. We have the right to remain silent, the right to be told that anything said can and will be used in court, the right to consult with an attorney prior to answering any questions, and the right to have attorney present during interrogation. And last, the right to counsel. If the suspect cannot afford an attorney, the court will appoint one. Suspect's response, waiver, and alternatives. It is common practices for the officer to ask the suspect if she or he understands the rights as they have been explained. If the answer is yes, then the officer may ask if the subject wishes to talk with officers. At this point, the alternatives open to the suspects are four. We have the suspect may choose to remain silent. The suspect may request counsel. The suspect may waive his or her rights and agree to talk with police without the benefit of counsel. And last, the suspect may indicate a desire not to talk with the investigator. Why people confess? It is human nature to talk. Most people cannot keep a secret. It has been estimated that 80% of all people will confess to a crime. There are two basic categories of people who will confess to a crime. First, there are those guilty parties who psychologically need to get it off their chest. The second category comprises those who are not guilty but who act under some urge to confess.